start the whole... Oh.
Are we ready for the first panel session of the day? Not yet.
We are.
Always have a problem to understand if in case of...
Okay, let's introduce
No,
our first panel discussion, how AI can be used to transform the way business operate and realize the goals. Moderator of the session, Natalia Buri-Loyal, Chief Operation Officer, Tototheo Maritime.
Good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here, and it's very nice to see so many like-minded people in the room. So to kick off, very, very briefly, may I ask our esteemed panelists here to say 2 words about who you are and what you do, as you have not had a chance to meet all of them through their presentations. So Marco, can we start with you, please?
Good morning again. My name is Marco Vatteroni. I'm currently the Secretary General and Technical Manager for the Shipdex organization. I worked more than 40 years in the IT sector, and then I developed the Shipdex protocol. I worked for some IT companies, and I'm still promoting the Shipdex protocol. I believe a lot on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine.
Perfect. Hello again. I think we met before, but let me repeat that I'm coming from Microsoft. Nadine Karali is my name, and I'm Commercial Director in Greece, Cyprus, and Malta. Thank you so much for the invitation again. And I'm working in the ICT industry for 20 years, so half of my predecessor. And I'm getting very excited with technology. I think it can really empower every person or organization that plan to achieve more. So I'm really excited to be discussing with you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tzortzos.
Good morning from me also. I'm Dimitris Tzortzos. I'm the Managing Director of Pilinet. And as a company, we are building the blocks of code that can provide to the AI the understanding of the human factor, like the equation of the overall management in a ship. It also includes human factor, and this is more than 70%. That nowadays is not included in the equation. So what we do is covering that human factor gap.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tsoulakos Nikolaos. I am Innovation and Technology Manager in Laskaridis Shipping, an owning and managing company which manages about 80 vessels. 53 modern bulk carriers and about 23 reefer vessels. I'm here to discuss together with my colleagues about AI, digitalization, and data in general. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you very much, Cyprus Shipping News, for the invitation. And Adonis Violaris, of course.
Thank you so much. And Fulvio?
Ladies and gentlemen, Kalimera. My name is Fulvio Solari. All my professional life in the ICT industry, more than 15 years in the maritime industry, presenting software solution for managing PMS and procurement, quality management. So the tools that are used day by shipping companies.
Thank you so much. So let's get started, as we have limited time and then we have a lot to talk about. So I would normally start from data, as it was very clear from this morning's presentations that they are at the base of AI. But instead, I'm actually going to take a further step back, and maybe, Nicola, maybe you can tell us from your perspective as an operator, as a shipping company. Do you think there is a clear understanding within the maritime industry of what AI really is, at the base of it, let's say, what it can help with, its benefits, the opportunities that come with it, the risks that come with it, how to measure it, when to expect a return on the investment, because there is investment to be made on that?
Well, we live in the era of digitalization. And what is digitalization? Digitalization is the application of digital technologies in business, society, and economy. And why I'm referring to digitalization? Because digitalization is inextricably linked to AI. I believe that most individuals are aware of what AI is in general, as AI is part of our everyday life. Within the shipping industry and under the AI, let's say, umbrella, there are numerous applications, such as AI machine learning tools for prediction, voyage and route optimization, fuel oil consumption optimization, for accurate monitoring of the CII. There are AI applications even for evaluating psychometrically the human factor, meaning the seafarers. Moreover, we should take into consideration all new technologies which are equipped with integrated artificial intelligence systems, such as smart cameras, virtual augmented reality systems, technologies which are really fresh in the market. And of course, we should not forget autonomous shipping. Digitalization and AI can help companies acquire network capabilities, collaborative innovation, and knowledge management ability, can help companies mine a large amount of high-quality information, but also support online communication within companies and with channel partners, thus avoiding information asymmetry, promoting complementary resources, and strengthening cooperation in sustainability. As a result, digitalization promotes, let's say, green process innovation and boosts sustainable performance for a company and the entire supply chain. Of course, we should take into account the human factor and the essential hard and soft skills that require development. At this stage, we cannot rely totally on AI. There will always be a human behind AI monitoring, maintaining, and troubleshooting the systems. Investing in digital technologies and artificial intelligence is considered a capital input, and when associated with labor, yields higher labor productivity, for the reasons I have mentioned before. And to answer to your question regarding the return of investment, by choosing the appropriate for your needs AI technology, fact which derives from the company's true needs, then the return of investment can be really fast.
Thank you so much. Nadine, I'll turn to you. You mentioned in your presentation about the wide scope of application that AI can have. It's a tool, so we have to use it correctly, as you pointed out. In your experience and in the recent years, let's say, have you seen any particular areas of application within Maritime where you see a higher interest and a wider, let's say, scope of application where Maritime companies look to implement AI?
Yeah, great. Thank you for your question. You know, AI is a platform. Actually, it's not a tool. It's not just a product. It's a platform. So you can really leverage it in any way you see fit in the organization. So it's really critical to map the needs of the organization into what you're looking for and what is your main pain point, let's say, or your main opportunity. But for sure, there are areas that we see common in the maritime industry. For example, in natural language processing, for example, when you can create very fast text and do various operations on the vessels. And for sure, I would not like to close this answer by not mentioning generative AI. So generative AI is this is what comes. What is the recent advancement of technology? Because AI exists for multiple decades. Generative AI is what is new and how it can leverage. And the great thing about it is that it is very easy to use it, and you can embed it in your everyday work. You can embed it in your office. You can embed it in your PowerPoint presentation. You can embed it in your everyday avoid administrative work with it. So generative AI is a fast, let's say, adoption AI model, if I may say, that can be definitely can definitely help the maritime industry and help it enhance operations, increase productivity, increase security, safety, and everything.
Thank you so much. Then Marco, going back to data, or actually taking a step forward to the data. As we mentioned, they are at the heart of AI. They are at the base of it. So digitalization, standardization are important when it comes to collecting, to gathering, to analyzing the data. What are some of the main challenges that maritime businesses today face in terms of data availability, the data they have, collecting the data, and when they decide to deploy AI solutions? So we are all set, we're discussing, we have a tool, we want to go forward, we're moving forward, but we come across the obstacle of data. So this, of course, means delays. It can mean taking a step backwards before being able to move 2 steps forwards. What, in your opinion, are the main challenges in terms of data?
Okay, big question. Okay, first of all, I think that any kind of software application can be very happy to manage standardized data, because the effort to develop an application or an AI application is less if the data are standardized, well structured, and so I think it is a big point to have standardized data. I don't have an experience in artificial intelligence as Nadina has, but I agree with her. Artificial intelligence can be applied on different, almost all the IT or to all our life with attention, taking care of what we do. In the case of Shipdex, if you remember the last slide, my idea is that AI could be very important to, for example, to simplify the life of makers to produce Shipdex data. Because an artificial intelligence algorithm could navigate through the engineering, PLM or other software or other database maker has already in place, and to collect the information and produce Shipdex data without, or at least 90% without human intervention. Then, at the end of the loop, when we have what I call common source database, AI could be very useful, for example, to navigate through a common source database and collect and put together the information that could be used to feed other environment, very important, like digital twin, autonomous ship, because these projects require a huge amount of reliable data, and Shipdex can provide reliable data better if an artificial intelligence algorithm can select the data, put it together in a way that can be very useful for digital twin, autonomous, and other environment. The last question, which challenges? It's a problem. In my experience, I found a lack of vision inside some or many customers. Because when I talk about standardization, digitalization, they said, no, for me, a PDF manual is enough. PDF is not information. PDF is paper. Is a paper on my PC. And if you want to reuse the information you have on paper manual or on PDF manual, you have to retype. Retyping, as I said, is error-prone, time-consuming, costly. So this is the big problem I found, the lack of vision from customers.
Thank you for bringing this up, Marco. I'll turn to Fulvio as a provider of digital solutions, AI solutions and platforms. Do you share this perspective? I mean, from your experience, from your interaction with potential customers and customers, should or does AI drive business innovation? So let's go implement a tool, a platform, a solution, and it will make our business innovative? Or do we first need to reset our mindsets to an innovation mode, if I might just call it that, in order to be able to correctly strategize, define the needs, define the goals and the objectives that we want to achieve?
Very, very nice question. Yes, I think that for sure the rumor that is now around artificial intelligence is very important in putting attention in the shipping industry about technology in general, because most companies are still utilizing outdated technology, outdated systems that are not ready for the future and are not even sufficient for the current time. So the rumor that is now around artificial intelligence, which is among us for years now, has at least the advantage of bringing the topic of update technology now. We are part, as technology provider, we are part of the game, so we can play our role by improving our system, by open our ears and embrace new trends and new needs and try to bring efficient solution to the market. But we are one of the player of the game. For sure, if we are talking of bringing innovation, we need at least to consider that the landscape is very heterogeneous. We have big companies, we have small companies, we have people in the office, we have people on board. And if you are talking of big organization and people working in the office, most of them are already using artificial intelligence, machine learning for years. They had the power to bring inside the organization experts, data scientists, people that are able to implement a strategy in terms of digitalization, advanced digitalization in the company. On board, it's a different ball game, big or small organization. The things are going to change very easily. I expect that we will have presentation about advanced satellite solutions, so the landscape is going to change in the next year, but still today on-board applications are offline. So bringing artificial intelligence on board will be the challenge of the future, plus the competencies. So of course, people on board need to be properly evolved and trained in order to be able to use this solution. For small companies, small organizations, it is not going to be easy because they will have to go on the market and search for a good partner that will be with them in this process of digitalization with artificial intelligence. And I'm quite sure that if we ask to the people here in the room, they will be approached by at least 25, 30 different companies proposing the same solution in the last 6 months, because now it's fancy, it's the hot potato because of the emissions. So we play a game as a technology provider. The game is complex because we need to embrace an industry that is very heterogeneous, but it's something that is for sure the challenge of the next 3-5 years.
Thank you so much, Fulvio. I actually made a few notes in what you said, and I will address to our rest of our panelists because I would like to get their feedback on that. And touching upon the element of the human factor, I'd like to ask Dimitris, it's a long-standing discussion ever since we're talking about digitalization, not just AI, but in general technology of the human element and how that fits in. When we start talking about AI and starting to take away, let's say, in quote marks, take away maybe the decisions, the analytics, the conclusions away from humans, let's say, and putting it into a machine. How do we find the correct balance, and where do we put the limits, let's say, in terms of implementing and integrating AI into our daily operations?
Well, I think there are two major aspects on this. The first one is we have to recognize that the one who writes the code has to be ethical in the first place. Let's say in everyday use, what you have asked AI to do for you is the ethical question. It's not actually the tool, you know what I mean? So, or the platform. From the other hand, it is very important to consider algorithms produced from AI itself. Let's say in route prediction, we end up with AIs having habits and prefer certain paths. Then it's also important to check if these habits are humanized, let's say human comfortable, or human, let's say, in the aspect of justice. Machine learning can be a misunderstanding like having opposite results. There is also the human need. Otherwise, you cannot have, let's say, ethical application of any tool. Even if, on my way here, my GPS show me a route that was prohibited. This was a machine learning error, or let's say a reception of the satellite error. You always have to be there and equalize the results, and the major thing is to monitor the code written by the AI itself and write ethically what you want AI to do in the first place. We already have many technological tools in our community, but they are misused.
Do we have the framework to be able to apply this ethical?
I think we have to go through a phase of try and error, then to have the experience to write the correct law frames. Also for the code writers and also for the users of the AI. And I think it's critical to have data transparency. What is Mr. Marcos doing? I mean, without data transparency, the will of, let's say, the one who does the prompt to the AI is not clear. It's not, say, ethical.
Thank you. That is actually a quite, I would say, maybe the easy place to start, data transparency, because it's something that can objectively be evaluated.
And it has to be at least partial. I mean, you don't have to show as a ship owner all the little details about your trip, but you can show like the hardware details.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
If I may add one point, if that's okay, to make it more interactive.
Please, it's encouraged.
It is the responsibility of the vendor also that create technology to make it responsibly. So it's not just on the, of course, human, like the GPS routing should be corrected, and AI is here as a supporter for the human. It's not replacing humans. It's not replacing their decisions. So one thing that, for example, Microsoft is doing is that we have a framework of a responsible AI, which creates rules about how AI is being created from companies, used from people.
Accountability.
So, and we follow this guidance within this framework across the journey of the product, from the very first ideation stage to the stage of use. And it's important, you know, to do this as a vendor. So all vendors should have responsibility. For example, whenever a company is about to release an AI solution, we are controlling the target of this customer, what they're trying to achieve with this. And we have mechanisms to detect hate, violence, and many other emotions that may come out of this. So it's also within the responsibility of the people of the companies that create technology. Would not leave it to the decision making of a human, you know. So it's also important to consider this. But managing not just AI, anything responsibly is very critical.
Thank you so much. That's very important, actually. Nicola, if I may turn to you, maybe you can tell us on the basis of your own examples or of your own opinion in general about the maritime industry. Where should or where would a maritime business, a shipping company typically start when considering the implementation of AI? in which area would you start defining your needs, let's say? Would it start with a strategy? Would it start with the customer experience? Would it start with operations? Would it start with costs? Where would you focus on, let's say, to...
Thank you for the question. First of all, the business should focus on the identification of their needs internally. Of course, what the strategy the company will follow is something crucial, as if we are talking about a towards digitalization, let's say, strategy, and the company is receptive to digital transformation, then AI technologies implementation is inevitable. In this respect, this will influence, of course, the customer experience as well as the operations. And in my opinion, this will be done in a positive way. The best starting point for an organization, of course, is, in my opinion, the installation of high-frequency data collection systems on board, which constitutes a strong base for future AI applications implementation. I believe that the wealth, let's say, of reliable data collected on board can be turned into a gold mine of insights to boost operational efficiency, optimize voyages, and reduce fuel consumption, while ensuring safety at the same time, which is also very important.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going a bit off script here, so apologies to everyone. We talked about the importance of data, and I'm taking off from Nadine's reply previously. Data in shipping, in the maritime industry, is not something we are used to having being shared openly. Operators and stakeholders are very private about their data. How do we overcome this obstacle and make use of best practices and learn from other industries? I'm not sure, maybe I'll start from Nadine, since you have the experience from on a wider scope of industries in terms of this.
Yeah, great question, by the way, because it's not just in the maritime industry, it's everywhere. Data is the propriety of the organization, no matter if the industry is maritime or any other industry. So what is very important here to understand is that data's organization is their data. It's nobody else's data. We do not even use in Microsoft the data to train the model. Not even to train the models. So they're pre-trained models that can be infused in the strategy or the planning of the organization and help get all these amazing things that we discussed about. So, although I understand that people are a bit, this is a gray box and they don't really understand what's going on, we are very strict on that. We will not, put in risk our reputation as a company in order to use data or get data from organizations. That belongs to them. They use it for their own benefit. It's completely theirs. We don't even, as I said, we don't even use it to train models for others. Not to share, to train the model. They are pre-trained models. So, but that's something that, it also comes with trust. So it's important to trust the company you're working on. Because I understand the challenge of not knowing actually what's in the system, not knowing how it works. And I'm a bit questioning, are they saying the truth? Do they use it? So there are certain things that we sign together with the company that we work on to understand that, we have nothing to do with their data. But as I said in the beginning in my presentation, if you don't have data, if you are having PDFs instead of data, or if you have just people knowing how the vessel works instead of collecting all this data and drafting all this information, then you won't be able to leverage them. It's impossible to have such computing power in our mind. We need to use computers for that.
Thank you so much. So my key takeaway from that is transparency, going back to transparency, and it's something Marco and Dimitris pointed out. Would you like, Dimitri, to add anything to what Nadine has said on this?
Well, I think there is a big need for education in our business industry. I do have customers, ship owners, that they do believe having a physical server in their office is safer than in the cloud of a provider. Well, we have to say the story from the beginning with small baby steps. And also, I do understand that the difficulty of entering this product of AI in the market is also the interface. We have ship owners saying, like, I'm not a nuclear scientist to read all this data spontaneously, you know. So we have to make also the interface more friendly and more human, easy to read, you know what I mean, easy to absorb. And this is the two major things for getting the product in the market and really having benefits of it.
Thank you so much. Indeed, it seems training and awareness. Would you like to add something?
Sorry.
You wanted to add something?
No.
I would like to
Natalia, we
add
have also 3 questions just waiting for you.
Okay, sure. Should we leave them to the end or? Yes,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, just to add something about how the shipping companies may contribute, let's say. For example, Laskaridis Shipping is collaborating with universities, supporting the research. In this way, we share data, and we share data in order to contribute somehow in the maritime industry. And through this data, machine learning tools are developed. And something else is that what I mentioned before, the collaborative innovation is very important, and the communication with channel partners or within companies is also an important issue, and we should take it into consideration. And in this way, I believe that it's a start to share data somehow, and not keep
Finding the way to do it.
Yes.
So we are discussing an even bigger mindset shift, let's say, within the industry, not just towards innovation, but towards transparency and maybe trust and knowledge transfer. Fulvio, how does that impact the future of the roles, of the job roles within maritime organizations, within the stakeholders, on board and on shore? You mentioned before that this will, it is impacting, and there is a constant debate and concern of machines replacing people. And we all, I think everybody in here agrees, we always keep people at the heart of shipping and at the heart of integrating technology into shipping. In your perspective, how will this change, and how do we address it? How do we address it through training, through education, to ensure that we are ready when it comes?
Of course, a captain once told me a good crew means a good ship. So imagine a good crew with a co-pilot, what can do. So we need to find a way. Today, I think it's not still at the heart of the industry. Having people on board already trained for embracing the digital solutions that are available today. So we need to shift this with the institution, university, and also the other actors that are in the market. Competencies are hardly hurt because the baseline of what we have been told, what we have listened today, is that the people are at the heart of the industry, at the heart of embracing digital solutions, embracing artificial intelligence. Thus, we need to train them in order to be capable of using all the potentiality of the technology. We need to shift because still today, still for what are the needs of today, without also counting artificial technology, there is still a gap between competencies of people on board, mainly, also in the office, but mainly on board because those that are more difficult to train because of the job that they do and what the industry requires in order to take some steps ahead. So I think that's the point. It's not the artificial intelligence, which is among us for years. It's how we can embrace, how we can have people capable to use the potentiality of the artificial intelligence.
Thank you so much.
May I leave my last, very simple...
It will not be your last because I have a question for you also, but you may
Please
add.
ask. Maybe...
Please add your comments.
My simple message is, in the past, in my career, I understood a very nice lesson. Who has good information is a king. Because if you have good information, you have the power in your hands. Now, the new lesson I learned is if the information you have are standardized, you are more than a king because you can time passes, you can change working procedure, you can change software, you can change organization, but if you have standardized information, they will remain and you will continue to use standardized information. Very simple, but I think it's true.
Thank you, Marco. This actually, my question is very relevant to what you just mentioned, and it's touching a little bit on the regulatory framework, and whether you feel that at the moment we are at the right level of guidelines, maybe not regulation, let's not go that far, but guidelines in terms of data standardization, data management. I'm sure you've had a chance to explore it in depth while developing and managing the protocol. What is your opinion on this? What is your take on that? And if you have any recommendations?
Our will was, since the beginning, to have Shipdex as at least a de facto standard. Mm-hmm. This is what we are trying to do, to obtain. We also tried to approach big organization, IMO. I also had some trials with ISO. It's a war. So it's very difficult. The best would be to have at least some classification societies supporting Shipdex. And in the past, we had BINCO in our organization. And BINCO prepared a document that was a template for new buildings. And they recommended for new buildings to require Shipdex data as a mandatory requirement. For example, probably you know, years ago, a very important Italian ship owner was building ships in China, and they wrote in the contract all the technical manuals must be provided in Shipdex format. I went to Shanghai, to the yard. I explained the meaning of Shipdex. The shipyard told me, okay, we have 3, 4, 5 big makers that already promised us Shipdex data. The other are not ready now, so they gave me, my former company, 200 PDF manuals to be converted into Shipdex. So the customer received the Shipdex data for everything, and they imported this data into their maintenance plan. So if we have a regulatory that can impose or at least recommend the use of standard data would be the best.
Thank you so much, Marco. So we have a few minutes and we have 3 questions. 5?
And the 4 are going to Nadine.
Okay.
Well, let's start.
Lucky me.
Oh, and one also to Nikolaos Tsoulakos. Starting with the first one, how efficient is the generative AI in vertical domains like shipping? It will be useful to explain a real or an envisioned use case, and when we will have available a domain-specific LLM for shipping. That's the first one. Mm-hmm. You want to take this one first?
Yeah, of course. So generative AI for shipping, I wouldn't put this vertical. Generative AI is helping translate natural language into action and vice versa. So it's not really only for shipping. An example or a use case can be my use case, which is how I use generative AI, for example, is, as I said before, to embed it in my office applications. Part of my slides were created by Copilot a few days ago, and that's not a joke, that's reality. It can help me, we participate in calls. I'm sure in this industry you have pretty many calls with the ship, and I get a summary if I don't participate in the call. I can take an action plan if I don't participate in the call. I can create a summary of a document and be able to read something that would take me 20 minutes and read it in a minute. So that's just very simple examples of generative AI and how it can be useful for organizations. So I wouldn't say it's industry specific, I would say it's need specific.
Okay, there are more coming for you. So I will go into one or two, and then I will pass all these questions later to you, Nadine, so that you can prepare a small report about that, if it's okay, so that we can publish it on our portal, and everybody can have get the answers. It is crucial to have a legislation about AI. Who is responsible in case of data leakage?
Data leakage where? From our cloud systems, you mean? Microsoft is, of course.
Microsoft will be, yeah.
Yeah, so security and data security is our utmost focus. We are, as I said before, we're not gonna jeopardize our reputation or put our company at risk by leaking information. So for sure, it's not our intention, right?
Sure, sure.
You want to ask something else?
Yes. Let me get to a long one, or maybe a shorter one, because it's going to take us long. With the singularity being speculated to be reached until 2031, 2035, how certain can we be that people will still be relevant in handling AI systems, especially in maritime market, where ship owners always focus on how to reduce staff and crew costs? And how certain are we that they will even open AI control positions in the office while ships still sail without IT on board? Long one, but I think
no, it's not a long one. It's very much related to if AI will replace people, will replace human, right? It's a very common question.
It goes towards vessel automation and unmanned ships, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Look, AI is a co-pilot. Is an assistant, okay? It's here to help the person. So I was reading the other day an article saying that, yes, a machine can win a human in a chess tournament, but a human with a machine cannot be defeated by a machine. So that's what we're trying to get with AI. We're trying to give the people, amplify their human capabilities in order to be more efficient. So if I was asking a ship owner, would you replace people that are doing administrative work at ship with somebody who can give you really, accelerate your operations, get support with the machine and have a better route? What would you prefer? So
let us get this answer from Nikolaos, because there is a question for Nikolaos about that. Does management and employees of a big traditional Greek shipping company like yours embrace the AI idea at the same extent? Do employees, shore personnel or sailors feel safe about their career ahead?
This is a very nice question, actually. I could say a lot about it. However, yes. Okay, shipping industry is now gradually entering the era of digital transformation. And this is because of the general mentality of ship owners who are a little bit wary and hesitant to adapt in new technologies and AI. Now, with regard to people, to seafarers, to employees, of course, we will never rely totally on AI. And of course, to add to what Mrs. Karali said before, that without supervision, without someone to supervise, we will not totally rely on AI systems, because it's a matter also of safety, and safety comes first. However, there are companies in general, like Laskaridis Shipping, that they anticipate a promising future for emerging AI technologies, right on the horizon, if we could say, and that they invest towards this path in both technological and human resources. So I believe I replied.
If I may add one last bit, if I may add on it, things change. There are a lot of occupations that existed 20 years ago that are, if I say that to a young person, they will laugh at me, right? For example, we don't have a controller at bus anymore. Does it mean that technology replaced human? No. This person needs to upskill and reskill to be redeployed to something else. So it's very important to ensure that we infuse skilling into organizations. Things change. We cannot stop technology. AI is not here to threaten us and defeat us. It's here to empower us. So that's how we need to address it. If we see AI as a threat, we will remain stable. If we see it as an opportunity, we will grow and go ahead.
Thanks, Nadine. I'm sure this is going to be a hot topic at our next crewing conference in Athens in May. So, closing remarks from the
Thank you
moderator.
so much. So, very, very briefly, I think what we've agreed on is that it's happening. It's happened. It's here. The transformation of the industry is in progress. And we cannot go back. It will just mean that we're not relevant anymore, we're not sustainable. It's best that we keep people included, informed, aware, upskill them, train them, make sure they're invested and they're a part of this transition, so they also evolve and grow along with the industry. I guess a few key words: transparency, that I picked up, transparency, accountability, knowledge transfer, and trust. That's it from me. If you have final words.
I would like to say it's a cultural step, not a business step.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all the speakers.